Hey, how you doing, friend? Hi.
Yes, sir.
Howdy. How
The
are
holiday season is upon us, Tommy
Yes,
Sanders. The
Merry
holiday
Christmas.
season.
Merry Christmas. I was
Same
going to
to you,
ask you
friend.
if Karen has, I mean, she had kind of changed my world when she rolled out something I'd never seen before for Easter, which is the incredible lamb cake. Does she have any some
Coconut lamb.
special Christmas creation to give to the world this year?
I believe we were gonna cut off the gingerbread cookies with Hunter and Jacob and their lady friends,
Okay.
and they shot it down. Hunter and Jacob said, no. That is a big deal. And by the way, our big producer, Mike McInnes, talked me into going to see this Trans-Siberian Orchestra thing 2 weeks ago, Tommy.
Yeah.
Let's never do that again. And listen, here's what I left with. It was like seeing a 4.5 day long concert, and love them. It was like seeing a 4.5 day concert with Pat Renwick.
Did it sound something like? Did it sound something like this? Yes. There we go. That's a little stocking stuffer for you right there. I thought I'd kick it off just with a little stocking stuffer, something to make you happy, something to get you in the Christmas spirit, Trans-Siberian style. You like that, don't you?
No, actually, Tommy, it pisses me off, and this is a true story. True story. Tommy, you've been with me when I tap out of things, when I'm done.
Yes.
When I'm done.
Yeah, when you're done.
Well, that same evening, earlier in the evening, the Bears just lost to the Packers, and they went through halftime of this Trans-Siberian Pat Renwick Orchestra concert. and I'm sitting there with the entire family, and Tommy, I was done. I got up and I walked out.
Where did you go?
I went and got a Captain Morgan's and Diet Coke and sat in the atrium of the Van Andel Arena for the next 45 minutes alone. That's a true story. That is true.
So really, not your Christmas will be just fine without the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't feel like I'll ever see that thing again in my entire lifetime, but I'm rooting everybody else on to go do that for the better side of a half a day of their. Tommy, the concert would not end. It wouldn't end.
We've all been to concerts like that, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's going to be harder. Just seeing your face when that came up lets me know that it's going to be hard to get me to go to a Trans-Siberian fest anytime soon.
Tommy, I felt like I was behind the tanks for 4.5 hours.
I hope Pat's watching this because he would love it.
Oh my God. That was great. That was
all right. We got to Pat for sure. So, all right, we got Christmas ready to go then. We've got all the distractions out of the way. And what we're really doing is we're looking forward to 2026. And we see this footage of Chris Johnston here, our AOY Angler of the Year. And he did it without, incredibly, we say this again and again, without making a single top 10 cut in any of those tournaments throughout the years. The likelihood of that happening again is not very likely. The likelihood of him reigning again as Angler of the Year is way more likely than that. But we're going to make some different predictions. We're going to talk about who we think is going to do well in AOY this year, right?
Tommy, I felt really, really good when I sent my picks in to JM Associates yesterday. I felt good about it. I woke up this morning and now I don't like them, and I'm going to give you my reasons why. Okay. But they're solid picks. Everybody knows the names when I bring them up. But then I really I dove into the schedule. We'll get there. But I loved them, and now I don't love them.
All right. Well, we'll do that. We'll do that. I got some picks I'm a little bit on the fence with, and some of it's, of course, with me, low-hanging fruit. That's my tradition. That's my Christmas and all-year tradition right there. But when we get done with that, we're going to turn around and make another set of predictions. We're going to talk about the third event of the year for most of these anglers, and that is going to be the World Championship, the Bassmaster Classic. Of course, it's coming up from the Tennessee River, Knoxville, Tennessee, Fort Loudon and Tellico. We've been there a couple of times with classics, and this one's going to be, I think, a little bit different. We'll have some picks there with some predictions for that one.
Yeah, definitely. I feel a lot more solid about the classic predictions, but we do so many different shows and podcasts together. By the time we get to the classic, we really end up picking the entire field.
Yeah.
So we'll have a winner in there somewhere between now and Bassmaster Classic time on Fort Loudon and Tellico.
I totally agree with that. Okay. Oh, and we're going to do one more thing before we get done here. We're going to talk about a wish list for the year 2026, and we're going to pick your brain, my friend. You show up in a different location, it seems like, all the time in all your travels that we see and we follow, and we want you to look back, think about it, and give us your predictions for where you would like to go in several different environments. We'll talk about lakes, pick one lake that you'd like to go to fish for smallmouth, or a river. We'll talk about one river you'd like to go to. We'll talk about where you go to catch Florida bass, where you would like to go in the middle of the dead of winter when you just got to do an escape from New York, as they say. Just get to,
which I do a lot of that. I do a lot of snake plissken.
I think you can enlighten us on all of that. So we got all of that coming up today on TnZ. But right now, I think we're going to take a pause and we're going to get to helping plan your fishing year for people who need some gear to get the job done. And you got some striking suggestions for us, right?
Well, Tommy, I do. And this is going to be the first time I've ever done this. Striking has asked me to not show prototype baits that I've actually worked on. And to win these baits, our last winner picked the yards, almost to the yard, surprisingly, of Kyle Manungai. Here's all I want. Give me the passing yards of DJ Moore. That's all I want this week. When I put the picture up, go to my social media. When the picture goes up, just give me the passing yards of DJ Moore. Tommy, I speak of this prototype bait. We're in a world now of strange looking things.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Strange looking baits. Dice baits that are terrifying looking. So what I tried to do with young Lucas, Ken Eubanks, Paul Bork from Rather Outdoors, I said, guys, I want to hit the next level. So what I did, now this looks eerily similar to an alien xenomorph fetus. You'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. That right there is something that we're working on coming out. I believe it's at ICAST this year.
Oh my God.
And what you can do, you can actually drop shot this thing. You can use it on a nickel rig. So that right there is bait No, it's not, Tommy. I just wanted to get up a xenomorph fetus.
I thought maybe
here's what we're gonna do. This time of year, man, this is a bait that I've talked about earlier this year in the TnZ podcast, the Strike King Tour Grade Fluorospin. And the beauty of this, it is connected to that and the great thing is a very small blade connected with a piece of fluorocarbon line. So when a fish bite, two things. Right when it hits the water, that blade engages, number one. Number two, when a fish bites it, it collapses and he gets the hook. Use a little baby Z2 on it, maybe a Rage Swimmer. This time of year, when the water's cold, that Fluorospin, I'm not joking, is one of the best underspins I have ever used. All I need is DJ Moore passing yards.
And you get the Strike King Fluorospin jig hit. That's a good, equitable way to pick a winner right there.
Year.
All right, so somebody's going to pick a winner there, and we're going to have to bear the burden of picking some winners coming up next year, the 2026 Bassmaster Elite Series season. Maybe one of the toughest to pick winners in coming up, because as always, we have this crop of new recruit, the new freshman crop, the rookies coming in here. We got some performers from last year who had seasons that were kind of up and down, but let's start. We'll let you start. I want to hear your picks for Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year. I think you got three probably, and we'll start with the third place pick. If you would go start for that now.
And Tommy, as you know, whenever we do picks, for whether they're Angler of the Year picks, Bassmaster Classic picks, we generally take, a lot of our viewers might know this, we take arrows from anglers and anglers' wives. When we don't, I don't want anybody going Diego Pavia on us after this airs. Okay. Here's I like that kid. I like that kid a lot, actually. He's a good kid. Yeah. Here's but before I go into my picks, to me this year, there are three extreme X Factor events. Okay. Every year we talk about this at the beginning of the year, events that are just very hard to handicap. A lot of our events, you can throw some pretty good darts out there. This year, I think the 3 events that are big time, I'm not going to say unknowns, but they're going to be a challenge is Tom Bigby and the March Arkansas River, middle of April. Mm-hmm. And even though we went to the Pasquotank last year, going there the time that we are going, to me, is going to be a big time X Factor the beginning of June.
Okay. Number
3. So here's what I did, and then I'm going to throw something out after these 3 picks. Okay. I, throughout this entire podcast, decided to roll full-blown momentum. Pick number 3. I'm going to go with the winner of the Bassmaster Elite Series at Lake Fork 2025. I'm going to go with Tucker Smith. Tucker Smith has been, the best way to put it, whether it's been in the Elite Series, outside of the Elite Series, he has been a wrecking machine ever since he was in college events. Look, we talked about it earlier this year when he won at Fork. Man, you expected it. There was literally no surprise.
No.
And if not for a few slip-ups, he would have been right in the running this year. I believe Tucker Smith ended up 9th. He had 4 top 10s in 2025. And get ready for this. This is a 6 stat, Tommy Sanders.
Yeah.
In the Bassmasters, just Bassmaster events, he has been in the money 20 times. Those 20 times are all top 10s.
Unbelievable.
Give me Tucker Smith, Angler of the Year.
I'll follow that up with
Number 2.
another fact about Tucker Smith. You talk about those 20 top 10s. He is 24 years old, and he's fished in 46 Bassmaster events. So that's true. That is not made up. Right. That is actually true. So, yeah, that's a great pick.
Got to actually hang out with Tucker at a Bass Pro Shops media event. He's one of the guys. Yeah. He's one of the dudes. He slowly he's turned into my guy. Hey boy, if he can shake off, he had a couple rough events in the middle of the season. If he can shake off some of those this year, look for Tucker Smith to be in the mix by the time we get up north, where I think he will be really a heavy favorite, to be honest with you. From there, I went low-hanging fruit. Here, my friend.
Okay.
Give me Chris Johnston. I feel like I might have took one of your picks right there.
You took one. Yeah. You did, but I swapped out at the last minute. So it turned out not to be one of my picks.
And here's why I say, look, Chris Johnston is a very, very obvious pick, But starting out at Gunnersville, as weird as this sounds, Gunnersville, I believe that's a non-forward-facing sonar
Correct.
Event.
Yeah.
Gunnersville, that time of year, fishes very northerny, if that makes any sense. Those fish don't get blasted by cold fronts. They're used to them in January going into February. I think he can get the ball. To be honest with you, I also throw Tucker Smith into that same category. A lot of knowledge of Alabama lakes.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things winning Angler of the Year, get the ball started.
Yeah.
Get the ball started. That's why I'm going to go with Chris Johnston, especially, look, yeah, we did not see a top 10 out of him in 2025, but it's almost like to have a tournament at Champlain and then to back it up, what he's going to do at Lake Ontario to end the season. Don't let this dude be in the top 5 going up north, or he will, but we've said this, he will ruin your dreams. He is a home wrecker. From there,
okay,
Chris Johnston, number 1, and this is one I argued with. I'm going to go with your Bassmaster Classic champion from 2025, Easton Fothergill. The reason I say that is you made a comment, Tommy. You said throughout the winter, I live in my boat when I'm not hunting, which is extremely true.
Yeah.
if you look at Easton Fothergill is a very close friend of mine. If you look at any of his social media, when is he not in a boat?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's right. Consumed.
He's absolutely consumed. And if you erase the disastrous beginning of his year last year, and I'm actually going to bookend that. I think we all picked Easton to win at the Mississippi River to end the season.
Yeah.
If you erase really those first two tournaments, Easton Fothergill was set up eerily similar to a young Trey McKinney to win Angler of the Year and the Classic.
To run away with both. Yeah, no doubt about it.
So I guess full circle on my three picks, I went full blown. You've heard a lot of anglers say momentum is not real in bass fishing. That is so untrue. Momentum is a real thing.
Absolutely.
Give me Tucker Smith, Chris Johnston, Easton Fothergill and here's what I was going to say. Here's the disclaimer that I'm throwing out. When I really sat and looked at the schedule and dissected, even though we did the coin flip, I call it the crazy coin flip. We did that coin flip and looked at our lakes, forward-facing sonar, non-forward-facing sonar, man, I you talk about momentum and you see one of these two. So these are two little dark horse. They're not really dark horse. That schedule could highly favor a Kyle Welcher, a Drew Cook, a Patrick Walters this year.
Absolutely. I agree. I totally agree. So Tucker Smith, Chris Johnston, top pick, Easton Fothergill. Got it. Made great. Good picks. Not too much low-hanging fruit, just enough risk out there to keep us all interested. All right, let's listen to mine. I'll try to make them kind of brief for you here, but third picking in the third place, I'm going to pick Jay Shakura, the guy who sat on top of that leaderboard, that Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year leaderboard for more events than anyone else during the course of 2025. He was out there, and he missed one cut. He missed one cut last year. He finished 56th place at an event and did not make it. You throw out that one? I mean, he's got 4 top 10s. The rest of them are 15th, 25th, and 34th. He'd have won it. I mean, he just gets rid. He throws out that one bad one. So I got to put him on the list. I got to say, once again, and he'll be a perennial. Probably. I'll probably pick him every year, and I can think of many reasons why. So I'm going to say Jay Shakura, my third place pick right there. My second place pick is pick is the lowest hanging fruit you could possibly ever have, and that is McKinney, Trey McKinney.
Yes.
Second by 8 points. I mean, that's like spare change. That's a balancing error right there is all that is. But he had an 89th at the St. Johns River. Turn that into a 50 or a 60, 69th, and he wins. I mean, it's just incredible. The rest of them were 5 top 10s, 1 11th, and 2 in the 20s. I mean, wow, that's strong. I mean, yeah.
Is it too early with Trey? Is it too early, Tommy Sanders, it's only his third season on the Bassmasters. Is it too early to say he's the best angler to never win in Angler of the Year or Bassmaster Classic?
Yeah, that is kind of early. It's only his second year, but my goodness, I mean, he wasn't even half through with his second season. He already had 9 top 10s racked up out there in the Bassmaster Elite Series. Like, who would ever have predicted anyone to ever have that kind of success? So Trey McKinney, my number 2 guy in that one right there. Number 1. I don't know if this is low-hanging fruit, but I'm surprised you didn't pick it, as a matter of fact, and that's Kyoya Fujita. Third place in Angler of the Year last year, but he had 2 cuts missed. The 92nd was one of those, the very first stop of the year on the St. Johns River. I mean, come on. I mean, after that, it was a total Angler of the Year season for Kyoya Fujita.
I don't... Man, Kyoya Fujita, he's a hard read. Like did I think he could dominate like he did? I think he had a huge tournament at Sabine, correct? Did he have a
Fork
big
and Sabine, back to back, a third and a fourth? Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain lakes where you're like, I'm not sure he's going to do well here, and then there he is on. It literally does seem. I'm going to throw 3 names out here, and they were all in our picks: Chris Johnston, Koya Fujita, Trey McKinney were Bassmaster Live of the last 24 months.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Yeah. They dominated. You talk about domination. That's where they really dominated, for sure. Good one right there. And I look at those two events, those two kind of, free radicals out there, the Arkansas River, and we look at the 10 Tom. That's where I wonder about Kyoya, but he goes down to Sabine.
Yes.
And knocks it out of the park down there and comes very close to winning. So I'm not that worried about him at either one of those places. So he's going to be my number one AOY pick, Kyoya Fujita.
I like it. I like
All
those,
right.
Tommy Sanders. I believe it's time for a little bit more, correct me if I'm wrong, Strike King love.
Yeah,
and again,
please.
I'm throwing up baits. I'm throwing up baits that shine this time of year.
Okay.
Strike King Red Eye Shad 2-tap. It just has that hard knock in it. This time of year, from now all the way until the middle of March, all the way into actually April, if you come fish up north, that knocking sound, that just dunk, 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 where it doesn't have that traditional rattle where you have a bunch of rattles in there. That single tap, Strike King 2-tap. The colder the water is, the better that bait shines. I'm going to tell you right now, Tommy Sanders, that could be a bait in our very first Bassmaster Elite Series tournament on Lake Guntersville. I know it's a stretch to say that a lipless crankbait in February.
At Guntersville, are you crazy or something? You're just going way
I know.
off. I know. You're off the end of the world. Strike King, Red Eye Shad,
2-tap.
Tungsten, 2-tap. Okay, check it out, and there's ways to get your hands on that. And yes, if you're not a Bassmaster Elite Series member and you still want to start your season at Guntersville, probably be a great pick. Okay, now, we are going to talk about the Classic champion for 2026. Again, we're going to Fort Loudon and Tellico. Knoxville, Tennessee, very hard one to pick. I mean, the history of that place and the Classic, we've had two Classics there. And both times, Jeff Gustafson, first time, total domination, found a way, unlocked cracked the code for catching smallmouth. You want to catch all smallmouth because the 18-inch limit says you're going to have a good weight and possibly win the tournament. Certainly worked out for him the first time. The second time worked great until the last day. And then the mine caved in, and he couldn't get back in the mine and get the rest of the gold out. He was left with 3 fish instead of 5. So I don't know.
Let's not leave out Ott Defoe.
And Ott Defoe. Sure, yeah, 2019, right?
And Tommy, I think the one consistent about Fort Loudon and Tellico, I've said this to McInnes, I've said this to Chase Anderson. It's the great thing about Loudon and Tellico is by the end of whether it's been an Elite Series tournament there or it's been the Classics that we've covered, the one consistent is inconsistency on that body of water. Yeah. So hard, but I got a lot of local friends that keep me wired into what goes on that lake. There were some massive springtime catches this last spring there.
All right. Well, why don't we just set the stage? Why don't we look at the top 10, the list of the top 10 from last year's Classic or the last time Classic, and sort of set our minds to thinking about Classic favorites and picks this year. Let's take a look at that. And there it is. That was Easton Fothergill, of course, and Trey McKinney. Lee Livesey, big part of the story right there. Hunter Shryock, Corey Johnston, John Cox, Brandon Lester, Chris Johnston in there as well, Patrick Walters, and Justin Hamner doing a pretty good job of defending right there. And yeah, and I have to correct myself on our history at Fort Loudon and Tellico. The first time, the first time Gussie won was an elite event, and then the second time.
4 days of domination.
4 days of domination followed by 2.5 days of domination at the Classic. So get that straight, get my somewhat messed up mind there working.
It's the holidays, Tommy.
It's the holidays. It's too much
Nobody's
Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and I'm flipping out here. Okay, you want to start? You want to give us your picks now? Your top 3 picks.
You lead it off.
I'll do it
for me today.
I will do it. All right, here we go. We're going with a Tennessee angler, Brandon Lester, and you might say I'm picking him because he's from Tennessee. He is from Tennessee, but he's from way down there way closer to a Pickwick than he is up the Fort Loudon and Tellico, but he is a Tennessee River angler. He knows how to get things done. He's always adding to his knowledge there, and I have no doubt that he has probably figured out some ways to dig out 3 or 4 pretty good smallmouth a day. Something just tells me he's worked on that. He may have that problem solved. And if he has that problem solved, I think Brandon Lester, I think he's going to do well there. I think he's, of course, his Elite Series win came down on the other end of the Tennessee River system, but I think he's possibly a good pick to get the job done there. And I think he's been around. He's seen it all, and he never quits learning. That's the thing that strikes me about Brandon Lester.
Yeah, and like one of my picks that I'm going to have here shortly, here's one of the things is a Brandon Lester. I guarantee you, man, I've spent a lot of time with Brandon. His career in his mind will not be complete without a major title. And you're only going to have so many shots in your home state to get that done. So yes, Brandon Lester, definitely agree with that one right there.
He still seems fairly new to us. We've been around so long, but he is definitely he is one of the he's one of the godfathers now. He's one of the
yes.
senior members of the Bassmaster Elite Series. Okay, number 2, and here comes your low-hanging fruit. Going to be a repeat performance. It's going to be 2 classics in a row for Easton Fothergill. A lot of reasons, of course, the obvious reasons. He's so good. We look at his season last year. It's terrible leading up to the Classic. After the Classic, he comes back with 2 more top 5 finishes in Bassmaster Elite Series events. So that part of the year for him, I think, is very, very good. It's going to be very, very strong. That's just one of the reasons. And he's like Jeff Gustafson. He's a northern tier guy. He's a northern guy. He's a smallmouth specialist. And, again, we say that 18-inch smallmouth limit, if he can crack that code just like Gustafson did, or even a little bit like Gustafson did, he's going to be a hard man to beat at the Bassmaster Classic. So my number 2 going to be Easton Fothergill. So I'm going to hit you with number 1 now. Huh? Go ahead.
Yes. No, the one thing that I'm curious of this Classic is, can an angler, it seems like every Classic that we've been there, you're either largemouth or smallmouth. Okay. So, and we obviously know the techniques, we know the codes. When Brian Schmidt and Brian New, when they kind of unlocked that mid-range gig, isolated wood, isolated structure in that 4 to 9 feet of water. Can an angler, Tommy Sanders, and your pick right there, I think, can do this.
Yeah.
Can you win this with a mixed bag? Can you smallmouth and then back it up with 1 or 2 largemouth a day? Because that's something we have not seen yet on Loudon and Tellico.
I think that's what it's going to require this year. Just my gut tells me that. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right there. And I think either way it goes, Fothergill can handle both scenarios right there. Okay, I'm going to give you my number 1 right now. Back in 2023, the Classic here, Fort Loudon and Tellico, the rule of the Classic is most everybody is going to have one bad day, one off day. His was terrible. Corey Johnston was right on track to be right there at the top, and he had a 3-pound day on the last day. If he can get rid of that, I think, he can put together a mixed bag. I think there's an example of a guy that could do something like that, a guy who's overdue to do great at the Classic, and still with all that, he finished great. And just catch the average. If he catches the average in 23 of what he had caught the first 2 days on data, he'd have won. He'd have been your winner out there. So I'm going to pick Corey Johnston as my number 1 pick to win the Bassmaster Classic, the Bass Pro Shop, the Bassmaster Classic for 2026.
Great pick. And I will say, again, if there is an angler that could do, a mixed bag on that body of water, Corey knows where it goes down. Again, and it's funny that you say the one bad day. That is the scary thing about that body of water, is just staying consistent for 3 straight days. We got to see that with Gussie. Obviously, I'm going to start with just because he needs this bullet in the gun to really wrap up the career. A true grizzled veteran on the Bassmasters for the last, I don't know, it seems like he's fished since we've covered tournaments together. Brandon Polinick. Brandon Polinick. looking it Brandon's been an interesting study throughout his entire career. And why I say Brandon Palaniuk, he's obviously still a young guy, but when Brandon Palaniuk gets traction, whether it's in this classic, when he gets traction in a tournament, he's turned into a Denny Brauer-like Kevin Van Dam closer.
Mm-hmm.
He finishes the deal. If Brandon sniffs a solid first day, look, he kind of just snuck into this Bassmaster Classic, but a lake that could heavily favor that mixed bag where you can kind of do both. You can get offshore. You can get shallow. Somebody that could, and look, I'm going to ask you this. Can you say Brandon Palaniuk's career is complete without a Bassmaster Classic title? I can't.
No. I mean, he's that level. I mean, how is it possible that he's not won a Classic yet? But you kind of think fate might be playing into this. We watched him on St. Clair this past year at the end of the final day. I mean, he's struggling to make it. I mean, just by the skin of his teeth into the Classic. And he makes a big move, makes a call, goes way up the St. Clair River into a little bit of a drain there, and catches the fish that put him, they are the ones that put him into the Classic. So I think, if you're a believer in fate, if you think that stuff like that carries over from one season to another, I think that's a terrific pick.
Well, and I think the other thing about that, and you could throw Corey Johnston, Brandon Lester into this, one of the biggest things at a Bassmaster Classic is knowing the process of the Classic, how different it is than a regular Bassmaster event. Palaniuk will be ready for that tournament. Number two, and I threw a dart here, but did I? Give me, from Georgia, give me Paul Marks.
Oh, okay. Winner at Hartwell this year.
Winner at Hartwell, cuts his teeth, does a lot of damage on lakes, Lake Lanier, where he guides at. If it's cold, this angler and the next angler that I'm going to name, if those fish are out there floating around and you don't need to worry about a warm trend where those fish are wanting to come shallow, if you could just put your head down, stare at your screen, Paul Marks, don't get me wrong, he is a very well-rounded fisherman, but if he can just do what he does, and he's shown he's pretty good at it with technology, Paul Marks locking in floaters out there on the bottom of the lake. Give me Paul Marks, number two. Number one, and Tommy, I had him in my first three list, and I'm going to say, again, I believe in momentum. I believe in fate. You talk about a dude that when big money is on the line, give me Tucker Smith. Give me Tucker Smith. And here's the one thing with Tucker Smith. Dude does not get rattled, man. Dude does not get nervous.
He's a flatliner.
100 grand. Yeah, he's a flatliner.
Yeah.
He literally is. If you look at what he, winning $1 million with Logan Parks, to winning, I don't know, a sack of money on Lake Gunnersville here a couple months ago in an Alabama tournament. Tucker Smith is the real deal, no doubt. So those are my three for Fort Loudon and Tellico. I will be curious to watch all of our Angler of the Year picks and our Classic picks back here in the next 6 to 10 months.
Yeah, we'll have to have a reckoning on that and take our lumps and celebrate our victories there. We were talking about, the chaos that is the Bassmaster Classic. Here's a guy that can cut through all of that. That's not going to bother him. He is unflappable, as you said. Those are great picks. Okay, let's pick out another dandy thing to have next year in our arsenal as we go to get some more Strike King right now. One last time today.
Tommy, please, Tommy, I don't think you're listening. Cold water. Water.
Right.
I'm not talking 50-degree water with you. I'm talking 40 to 44-degree water. Strike King, flatliner, hardliner crankbait. right?
Yeah.
And it's got that. And the thing is, this is the second time this year I have brought this hardliner because I know the first time you weren't paying attention to me. When the water is cold, bud. When the water is cold.
I know. If I have a fault, that's
striking hardliner. And here, well, it's weird. It's weird to actually talk about Loudon and Tellico, and you talk about East Tennessee. That is where baits like this actually came about. The little bit different, not a little bit, it's actually a big difference. That hardliner, different from traditional flat side crankbaits. A lot of the traditional flat side crankbaits, Tommy, you used to have to use 8-pound line throw on a spinning rod. This bait has a little bit more weight where you can use maybe a lighter cranking setup, some 10-pound, 12-pound, but a very, very, what's the key? What's the key in cold water? Very tight wobble, striking hardliner crankbait. Tommy, cold water.
Excellent. Great advice to get you geared up and ready to go for next year. Let's start out our next segment and our final segment of the day. We started with the gift of song, Trans-Siberian Orchestra style. Let's have another gift of song, this time from our reigning Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Chris Johnson.
It's a swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh.
No, that's
yeah.
nothing good about this. Or everything's good about this, to be honest with you.
It's a swell time
Look at
to
him.
go gliding in a one-horse sleigh.
He didn't know what to do with his hands.
That's
Did you
exactly
notice
what
that?
I
He did
thought.
not-
The awkwardness from the waist down was off the charts. Absolutely terrific.
Did not know what to do with his hands.
The bouncing as well. The bouncing also was great. All right, now we're talking about planning next year. What you like to do at the holidays when you get through with all the stress of getting ready for Christmas. You're sort of taking a little bit of a breather as you await the New Year's coming up shortly in just a couple of days. Your mind wanders. You try to think, what would be my ideal fishing layout, my plan for 2026? And I'm going to turn to you for this, and we're going to take a look at a lot of different ways people like to fish, and you are going to give us your suggestion. The place you dream about.
Stocking stuffers.
Stocking stuffers. That's a great way to put it. Stocking stuffers. And we'll start with your favorite kind of fishing as I see it. A smallmouth bass. You had one smallmouth trip to take in 2026. What time of year would you do it and where would you go?
McKinnis sent me these questions, and I'm number one. McKinnis knows me well enough. I'm not going to name exactly where I would go.
That we take as a given.
But here's one that I think gets grossly overlooked. We shot a Zona show there, had 30 pounds this last beginning of May. And I still do, even though we've covered events there. It's a very hostile body of water. It just seems like they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the other thing is, it just gets ignored by the mass because of Mother Nature. Give me Buffalo and the Buffalo Basin. Great wings off the water, as you well know, but on the water, I think Buffalo is one of the most diverse trophy smallmouth fisheries across the board. You can, as Casey Ashley said long ago, you can catch them shallow, you can catch them deep, and you can catch big ones doing both. Give me Buffalo.
And what time of year?
I would say beginning of May is exponentially the best all around. And here's why I say that. If Mother Nature lets you get out onto the lake, giants to be caught out there. If she doesn't, you go in the Niagara River and giants to be caught there. Give me Buffalo.
Excellent. That's your smallmouth pick. One trip in 2026. That's where you'd go. Buffalo, Lake Erie in May. Good stuff. Now let's look at the other end of the continent, or the country, I should say. Places where you might find Florida strain largemouth bass. Florida strain largemouth bass. I know you got a special place that, according to the rules of this, as you laid out, we're not going to mention that place, but you're going to mention a place that everyone would be familiar with.
Well, one of my favorite Florida strain lakes on planet Earth. You actually cannot, I'm not joking. I was down there last week. I flew into San Antonio with the Scorpion to do a little hunting. Choke Canyon is one of the best Florida strain lakes. Tommy, it is so low. I don't know that you
Really?
could I'm not kidding. I don't know that you could launch a kayak right now.
Wow.
It is that low, which means when they do pull some water down there, it's one of the best Florida strain lakes. But from there, you can still say, heck, I'm going to go down the road and catch a Florida strain on Falcon, right?
Yeah.
Neither of my picks. My Florida strain lakes are basically every single lake below Lake Seminole, which I'm going to be visiting here in 1 month. Florida is what I'm going with.
All right, good. Excellent pick there for your Florida strain largemouth. Okay, now so say you don't live way down in Texas. You don't live, out in the jungles of Florida, but you live in an urban area where you got rivers to fish. In this country 75 years ago, that's pretty much all we had to fish in terms of bass fishing. I mean, then we went on this building lake spree, and a lot of states like Texas got turned into just wonderlands of reservoirs. But if you're in one of these urban areas or someplace where there just aren't a lot of lakes, you river fish because that's what you can get to. That's what your opportunities are. Where would you decide to go river fishing and when?
You could, boy, and this is the one that kind of I thought about for quite a while. You can go from Potomac to St. Lawrence to Detroit to the Mississippi River, all of them very, very, very diverse fisheries. A lot of those you can target shallow largemouth, small trophy smallmouth. But I decided to go with an old friend. I decided to go with the old standby that has lived up to the test of time, a Pickwick, a Chickamauga. Mm-hmm. Any of those lakes along the Tennessee River, Tommy Sanders, you cannot go wrong. And here's the thing that amazes me with the Tennessee River. When you kind of look at that area from Chickamauga and Pickwick and that whole region, it sustains the most massive amount of pressure from not decent anglers, from the best anglers in the country, and it gets throttled every single day and always stands up. Give me Tennessee River as favorite river for bass fishing. Absolutely. Got to agree with you on that. It's fantastic. It's provided us with so much material through the years covering the bass fish, the Bassmaster Elite Series. We can never thank that place enough and never give it enough praise. Okay. For the spawning season, for when it's that magic week or two, when wherever you go is at its peak, what's the best of the best of those places? Tommy, I went with two. Okay. I went with two. Give me Texas. Give me North Texas, for the simple fact you look at places and you truly know if you look at social media when they are spawning throughout Texas, all from Toledo Bend all the way down to OHIV. When they lock on, it is an amazing. It's a phenomenon of what start. You can say places like California, sure, man. The Delta, I agree with that, but I went with Texas just because their spawning season is a lot like Florida. From South Texas all the way up to North Texas, you're talking the window is a few months, but I also threw in, again, I'm calling out Mike McInnes because he's done it with me. Give me the Upper Peninsula of Michigan because they spawn from the beginning of June until Labor Day. Okay. The window is not small. Okay. And hey, the other thing on that is they're not the sharpest tools in the shed when you mess with a smallmouth on a bed. But the other thing is you can get in areas where I'm not saying this jokingly, you can get in areas where there are hundreds, not dozens, there are hundreds upon hundreds of 4 to 5.5 pound smallmouth. Give me Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Oh, we've seen so much magic up there. Great picks. One more question to ask you, and I'll start it out with this conversation. I was talking to our friend Dave Mercer the other day, and he says where he lives up in Canada, it has been like February for the last month up there. I mean, just horrible. Ice and snow and wind and storms and everything else. As we tape this, we're 2 days away from the official start of winter. Can you see where you live, Z, that winter is just around the corner? Tommy, it has. It has been welcome to the pain cave for the last 40 days. Check this out. We've been blanketed with snow. It got to 60 yesterday. We pulled an inch of rain, and now I'm not kidding. It is 11. It is 11 degrees out.
Oh my God.
So if you're good with it, we can make this podcast go another 3 hours. I've got nothing to do, man.
Okay,
nothing.
it's okay. I got it. So for you and Dave and all of our friends up there, you get to February, and you've got to do, like we say, an escape from New York. You've had enough. I'm gonna go somewhere that takes my mind away from all of this and gives me a maximum bass fishing experience. Where are you going to target? And might as well ask you, where are you going to go in February?
Well, this is actually a very interesting question, because the first two that come to your head is, again, it's Texas or Florida.
Yeah.
That is not where we're going to go, Tommy Sanders. The reason I say that is Texas and Florida, as great as they are when it's warm, the bass in Texas and Florida are a lot like human beings. They don't like cold makes baby mad.
Yes.
There is a line. There is a line in this country. And Tommy, when I've been behind, on taping Zona shows. I've had to knock shows out in January, February, when it's brutal. There is a core set of lakes that the bass are just used to massive fronts. If you want to get a lot of bites, you go to Lake Hartwell. Our guy Neil Paul from the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
It is. If you're looking at your kid after Christmas and you're like, hey, little buddy, do you want to go get some bites? If it's 20 degrees, go to Lake Hartwell. It's almost like cold weather pisses the fish off. A Gunnersville, I said it earlier, fishes the same way. A Lanier fishes the same way. But my number one most favorite lake to fish in the middle of winter, and I know this sounds crazy. If you look at, hey, this area is going to get 1 to 3 inches of snow, go to Dale Hollow. Go to Dale Hollow. Throw a football jig, crack the whip. The colder, the nastier it gets. Dale Hollow is one of the most fun bodies of water to fish throughout the entire country when our country is at its coldest. Like, Tommy, a lot of the year is you sit there and wonder, man, there's a cold front coming. They're going to shut down. That is one of those lakes, those clearer, deeper lakes that the fish do not get affected. Give me Dale Hollow, favorite place to go, early February.
Fantastic. What a great Christmas gift from you. Places to plan for your bucket list adventures for the coming year. And as we look forward to 2026, man, I look forward to spending more time with you. I hope we can continue to do this. And I hope you're coming to the Classic. I mean, keep in mind, I know, fingers crossed. I'm hoping you're going to be there. I don't know the full story yet, but we'll hold that. We'll hold it as a surprise.
We got a couple stocking stuffers coming together here in 2026. And the other thing, if we're going to end this with this madness, this Trans-Siberian Orchestra stuff, Tommy, thank you to everybody that has watched TnZ this year.
Yes.
The other thing is thank you to you all, everybody at JM and Bassmaster down in Birmingham. I think 2025, from the Angler of the Year to our Bassmaster Classic champion, throughout all the highs and lows, was a magical season on the Bassmasters, and I look for the exact same thing, especially with the schedule that we have for the 2026 year. It's going to be awesome.
Well,
awesome.
I join you in thanking everyone who has taken the time to spend some time with us, and I'm so appreciative of you because we never get enough of your voice and your mind. Thank you so much. We will see you next time, next year, we hope, 2026 right here on TnZ. Thank you. Goodbye.
Love you, T.
Love you, Z.